The hardest part of these travel videos is the fact that once you sit down and you start eating and talking, enjoying the beach, which was ultimately the point, you completely forget the project and you just stop filming stuff. And then when I'm editing, it just jumps from one point in the video to like several hours later, like a blackout. I gotta say, I love this place. We're in PIPA right now. It's a small touristic city outside of Natal, the state capital here. And it's like, you know, those typical beach towns with like the little narrow streets and charming restaurants and places like that. Tell you what, let me show you around. I want to live in a place like this so bad you have no idea. This is what it was all about, right? When I started traveling and seeing places like this, I realized Canada wasn't for me, at least not during the winter, that's for fucking sure. I'm stuck between worlds in a way, because when you've been in a different country from the one you were born, for as long as I have, when it comes to Canada, for example, I had been there for 20 years before I moved back here. So in a lot of ways, Canada feels like home to me, right? But being able to, like, I'm outside in flip-flops, I'm sweating, it's great. So for the winter, at least, for sure, this is where I'll be. And this kind of place is where I would actually like to be. I live in Fortaleza right now. It's my hometown. It's a state capital. I think 2.5 million people live there, and it has all the problems of a big city and some that you guys wouldn't even fathom. So I'm kind of sick of the big city. This is where I want to be. I'm gonna move down here. I swear to God. That's the beauty of what I do now, right? Like, for those who don't know, I left my career in healthcare and I became a tutor, an English tutor, right? And there is a high demand for that, as you can imagine. So this is what I've been doing with my time. And what you see behind me is why I'm doing it. It's working in healthcare I loved it, but got to be there in the winter, man. Going through this type of stuff, I couldn't do it anymore. 20 years was enough. This is really cool. It's like a little mall, and then at the end there, it's a different hotel. I definitely want to stay at this place next time. I find it very convenient to have. There's a drugstore right here, very convenient. And I wanted to have a breakfast here. It looks so beautiful. Look at this. I have like half an hour left. Better hurry. I'm so staying here next time. These places could not be more charming, man. It's amazing. I would like to spending a night here. I want to live here. Shit. I wonder if they have like monthly rates. And I mean, they probably have, but they would not be cheap. This place, I asked last night, it costs about 350 reais to stay the night. So in US dollars, that's, well, now is the time, I guess, for people getting paid in US dollars, because that's how much it would be a night. It is not an outrageous amount if you're earning US dollars, but you'll find that nothing in Brazil seems very expensive if you're making US dollars. Okay, it looks like everyone had the same idea today. This place is popping today, and this gives me the opportunity to teach you a Portuguese. I learned your entire language. You're gonna learn this one thing. In my region, something like this could be described as papocano, which is the gerund form of the verb papocar, which is kind of an onomatopoeia for a sound of something going off, like a firecracker or something like that. Papocar. It's usually used to describe exploding sort of actions. Papocano, the gerund form, all the verbs that we conjugate with that ing suffix, right? So like running, eating, those are the gerunds. So papocando with a D in the end, and do would be the gerund form. So in English, all the gerund verbs end with ing. The Portuguese version of that is ndo. But I'm not saying papocando with a D. I'm saying papocano without the D, because that's how we say it in my region. So, tá papocando, mano. Now, this is kind of interesting. You see these flip-flops here? For some reason, in Brazil, we refer to them as Hawaiian sandals. I'm not sure if this is a Hawaiian thing or if Brazilians are just calling this a Hawaiian sandal, but that's what they are called here. Sandália Havaiana. Is that a Hawaiian thing? Yeah, now I almost started in Portuguese there for a second. Now we gotta find some place to eat. I've had pizza, I've had barbecue. I want a burger today. Oh, look at that. Yeah, one thing I've been meaning to cover in these videos more is the fact that there's a lot of religion in Brazil. Like you go someplace and there's always like a bunch of churches, usually like these small, like these small towns. They usually have like, the church, like the area where the church is usually the most historical part of the town. It's an important meeting spot. There's a lot of cultural significance, and not just like the churches, but like businesses are more likely to be named after like some kind of religious reference here than in Canada or the US. Like there's a drugstore around where I live where the slogan is literally Jesus is the best medicine. So there you go, that's how it works. Oh shit. Sorry, that's the Brazilian in me. The Brazilians know what that was about. There's a lot of like little narrow like streets. Like part of the reason why I want to live in a place like this is because it's walkable, right? Like you walk everywhere. And as I mentioned in my Portuguese video, if I could manage my intake of delicious food, I probably would lose a lot of weight. But said food is delicious. That's the dilemma. But I do walk a lot around here. You know, I'm a huge enthusiast of electric vehicles. I didn't bring my my EUC this time, but I will be back with my wheel, taking on these hills here. It's quite hilly, I will say. See what I was saying? They have in front of like it's like a showroom for like a resort type situation, and they have like these big ass statues of like Jake Sully from Avatar and Bumblebee, and it says right there, only Jesus transforms. Só Jesus transforma. See, this is what I was saying. That's my drone here there. Yo, I hope I don't get flagged for this, but I haven't heard dubstep anywhere in a very long time. Is it coming back? I am obsessed with the idea of living here and exploring this place. The place is beautiful. Like, look at the cobblestones. They're painted like you could not be any more charming than this. This is some Wizard of Oz shit. You know, like it looks like a set, like for a theater play. And they're renting this house, so I should probably jot that down. The hardest part of these travel videos is the fact that once you sit down and you start eating and talking and enjoying the beach, which was ultimately the point, you completely forget the project and you just stop filming stuff. And then when I'm editing, it just jumps from one point in the video to like several hours later, like a blackout. Olha, uau! Muito bonito. Caralho!